Good afternoon, guys. How are you? Hope you had a good lunch. So my name is Murphy, and I work as a Chief Growth Officer with StorX. At StorX, we are on a mission to provide the most privacy-focused storage services to all the individuals. I know this looks a little audacious, but I should be able to convince you by the end of this presentation. So this is the volume of the data that we have been creating in the past few years. And this is the volume of the data that we're generating every minute. Just look at the amount of data that is being created. We are creating so humongous number of files which are like videos, images, documents. And if you look at this image, it is this amount of the data that we are creating over the years. So if you just look at this map from 2021, we are creating more amount of data than all the data that we have been put together in the past 10 years. So that means that we are creating a whole huge amount of data that is new or that requires storage. Now, if we remove some of the noise, like the unwanted videos, files, images, photographs, and all, there is still a very small amount of data that is really, really very critical. Data which is important to our business, data which is important to our personal lives, and we can't live without this kind of data. This is how the cloud market looks like. It has been going phenomenally over the years. I'm just talking about the cloud storage specifically. But this is one of the best market to be in because there's a huge demand, and the demand is going to grow still further. And we're very sure about it. And if you look at this image, this is the players who actually control the market. And if you look very closely, there are three players who predominantly are the big players in the market. They control almost 75% of the data market, which is there, storage market there is present currently. So what happens if you have such few number of people controlling such vast amount of data? There is always a monopoly which is not good for users. And if there is three players controlling the whole world data, it can really create a big chaos. Imagine if any of these service providers goes down for a few minutes. If your data is not available for a few minutes, what could happen? It would be a very, very bad situation for all of us. So what happens? This is something happens when you have so few players. There are virus infection, there are attacks on your data, there are various kind of disruptions. So what happens is, when you have so few players who are controlling the whole world's data, there is so much of risk that happens. It's like single point of failure. This is a very big risk. If you understand how you're storing your file, majority of the files, if not all, they're just stored in a single location as a single complete file. What does that mean? If that location or that device goes down, you will lose access to your data. The second one is lack of privacy. Because, as I said, most of it is stored as a single file in a single location. If you lose that file, you will lose the access, but the service providers can have a look at it. There are governments who can snoop into your data. The governments can arm twist the service provider to see what you're storing exactly in all the clouds. And that's really very bad. Then there is escalating cost. There are surveillance abuses. As I said, the government is always interested to know what you're storing. They can even arm twist the service providers to know what you're storing in a different region altogether. There are multiple snooping tools which are being run. There are multiple AI tools which are being run just to analyze what the data is being stored in the name of national security. And there are, of course, data breach and data virus infection. Since there are very few service providers who are controlling so much amount of data, what happens is the hackers are always interested to get into the data because all of them are uniform. All the standards, all the infrastructure which is lying is being uniform, and they can get into one region, they can easily get into any other region without any problems. So they hack into one region, they can hack into a different region. Most of the people whom I talk to, they say, why I should be concerned about security or this kind of things? Because I'm such a small service provider. But that doesn't matter because everything is standard. He doesn't have to be targeted to a specific geography or a specific region or a specific organization. He can get in the data anyways. So what should be a holistic way to store the data? These are the key features, 3 key features which was actually promised to us. 20 years back when people started moving the data from on-premises to the cloud, these were the 3 features that were promised to us, that the data will remain very secure, very private, and it would be very scalable. That means you don't have to invest in a lot of money when you have to scale it. But the third one still remains, but the 2 of them are really a myth. So your data is no longer very secure and private. You already know a lot of cases. Cambridge Analytica was one of the biggest things, how the data was abused by the service provider. So what is StorX all about? So at StorX, we are on a mission to create a very privacy-focused, secure storing solution that you don't have to worry that the data is secured or data is backed up or data is, so we provide the security in terms of architecture itself. So I'll just show you a short video of what we're doing.
Data is the new oil. Every day, we save gigabytes of data. Photos, spreadsheets, videos, files you want to share, and files you don't want to share. But have you ever thought about whether your data was safe?
Your data is safe with us. It's encrypted and only you can access it. As long as there are no regulatory moves, only until the next hacker finds a vulnerability in the system.
The point is, your data was never safe. Should you stick with storage solutions that don't take your data seriously? Or switch to breakthrough solutions built on cutting-edge technology that is unhackable? Introducing StorX, the world's leading blockchain-powered distributed cloud storage system for your personal data. Any data you upload on StorX doesn't sit in one central location like traditional cloud storage. Heck, it doesn't even exist as a single file. Every piece of data you upload is first encrypted with a private key known only to you. Then it's broken into thousands of unrecognizable fragments, and multiple copies of each fragment are generated to ensure high redundancy. And finally, these fragments and their copies are stored across hundreds of independent storage nodes spread across the world. We or they can't ever peek into your data. To access your data, all you have to do is log into the platform. Your private key gets activated, and your data is retrieved and assembled for easy access. StorX is as simple as cloud storage you're used to, but only miles ahead when it comes to security, privacy, and data ownership. We might have eliminated any room for your data to be stolen, censored, or shared with third parties. Oops, sorry cybercriminals and big tech. Ready?
So basically what we do is whenever you're using a platform to store our data, at the user's device itself, we encrypt it with the user's own private key, and the encrypted file is then transferred to the platform where it's broken down into small fragments. We replicate those fragments and then we distribute to 3,000 odd nodes that we have around the world. So ensuring that the architecture itself gives you a high amount of privacy, security, and resilience. So by the very way in how we are storing the file, we are able to achieve all these things. So we are really very private and secure. That means nobody in the platform, including us, can snoop into your data, can see what you're storing, or ever access the data. At any point of time, if any of the node operators in the network is compromised, the hacker will just be able to get a small fragment of data which is actually encrypted. It doesn't make any sense for him because he'll have to get the data back, he'll have to first get the entire chain of documents which would be spread everywhere, plus he has to get that encryption key, which is almost near to impossible. So because of that, we are able to offer a very high level of privacy, security, resiliency, and we are fully decentralized. That means we don't control any of the keys, any of the passwords. So to log into our device, you just need a Google account or a LinkedIn account. So we don't even store the user's login and password in our platform. We are an open source platform, so users can see how we are processing the data. And we are very cost efficient, fast, and environment safely. Yes, so this is a user interface of a platform. It's really very simple. You just don't have to have a lot of technical expertise to do that. You can just sign in with your social IDs and get into the platform and start uploading and downloading. We also have a developer interface where you can use API keys to access it. So it becomes really very simple. We know that in order for the users to store in the data, we should be integrated with a lot of products. So we have more than 60 products which we are integrated with. That means you can seamlessly transfer data or transfer data from or to StorX using the 60 integrations. This is some of the very recent integrations that we have. I'll just talk about the one integration. So we have actually replicated a Google Workspace thing. What you can do is you can actually have your Google account, all your emails, all your Google Docs, all your photos actually transferred to StorX. So you can actually create a real-time backup of your Google Workspace on StorX. You can also set an auto sync on. That means it will automatically sync every 24 hours, once in a week. Or you can set a sync off. That means whenever you want to back up the data from Google Workspace, you can do it. So you actually create a real-time backup of your Google Workspace. We also can integrate, we are also integrated to back up your Kubernetes and WordPress workloads. This is one of very interesting use case that we had with the client. So this is basically a company called as Fidesz Innova. They're based out of Canada. They are a very big IoT-based provider. So what they do is they had thousands of these small IoT devices which are integrated with their customers. They lie in various factories, hospitals, oil refineries, ships and all. So when they were planning this, this setup for the whole organization, they found that they're going to spend a huge amount of money in egress. That means these IoT devices are going to send a huge amount of data to the platform and from the platform, and they're going to incur a lot of egress fees. When they try to calculate this with the existing service providers or hyperscalers, they came to a conclusion that the cost for egress would be comparatively high than what they're providing service. So providing service at that egress cost was really not possible. So they came to us, and then we were able to offer them the solution whereby we were able to give them like zero egress fees and very high level of resilience. So because of that, they were able to offer the service at a very cheaper cost, and at the end of the day, they win and their customers win and we also win. This is all about our ecosystem. We have 10,000 users. We have around 3,000 node operators who work diligently with us. And all of these nodes are stored at internet data centers and not at individual homes or laptops or anything like that. So anyone who wants to become a node operator, for us, the first requirement is the servers have to be in the internet data centers and not at their homes. We currently have 5 petabytes of storage that is deployed. We are in partnership with so many firms. We also have tokens which are listed with BingX, Bitrue, Porobit, Constore, Bitmart. These are some of the press releases that we have got. This is various ways in which we were listed. So we were listed at IoTeX as one of the best service providers. We are partners with DePIN Hub, DePIN Union. This is how our token has been performing. So if you look, this was the presentation that I made during Token 2049 Dubai. We were in 755 number, now we are at 515. So we are really making good progress in terms of token valuation and for our investors. Yeah, that's it. So this is how you can be a part of our organization. You can sign up for this. You can be a node operator and start earning. And you can also sign up for securing your data. That's it from my side. Thank you.